website. If you see our end speaker today, it says Michael Fiore facing fentanyl, and there's nothing written there. And our first National Fentanyl Prevention and Awareness Day was a small event in Denver, Colorado. Mike had been reaching out to me and sharing some of his messaging, some of his social media. And he came into Denver to speak with us. And I saw something that I'd never seen before. I was worried. I didn't want to. I was hesitant to work with people in recovery. I'd lost my daughter, and I didn't want to get close to anybody else that might suffer in that same way that I couldn't help. I have watched Mike grow every day. There's nothing written here because his story will go on and on and on. It changes every day for the better. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of how you walk with our families. I have seen you sit at the tables of HSI. You've sat with our families. They love you. We can hardly wait to see what comes next. Michael Fiore.
Before I get started, I just have to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, because if it wasn't for His grace and mercy, I wouldn't be able to be before you here today. I just want to thank you. I want to thank the law enforcement. Being a former addict, you guys get a bad rap. There's a stigma attached with law enforcement. As a former addict, I didn't like you guys. I didn't like you because I made you do your job. So I just want to let you know, as someone that might have made it difficult, I want to apologize. And I want to tell you, do not stop your job. Do not stop enforcing the law. There needs to be accountability. I'm letting you know I learned my lesson my last time in jail, and I realized that I needed to change something. So do not change what you're doing. I thank you for all the hours that you guys sacrifice from your families to be able to make sure that these drugs come off our street. So please keep doing what you're doing. And the last thank you is going to go to your families. They thought you guys were crazy. They thought you were a bunch of grieving parents that just wanted people to get locked up. If it wasn't for the families, we would not even be here today in our country with the awareness being where it is. So I want to thank you for being on the rooftops, and I want to thank you for not stopping you from yelling on those rooftops, and I thank you for keep going, you guys, and I want to thank you for giving my recovery purpose by allowing me to walk alongside you guys and giving my lived experience an opportunity to be able to educate the public. So without you guys, without Andrea Thomas, I would not be the man I am today. So I want to thank you. Even though you lost your children, you guys still love me as if I'm one of yours. So facing fentanyl, we are the foremost and the most visible force against all things fentanyl related. Again, like Andrea said, my name is Michael Fiore. I'm Director of Outreach as well as Recovery. A little quick about myself, 20 years active addiction. I lost both my parents to AIDS from heroin use, 2 grandmothers to alcoholism, a grandfather to heroin, and an uncle to heroin. So I think I have a pretty good experience that I can talk between old drugs and new drugs. What we're dealing on the street is not old drugs. Why I go to drugs, I lost my identity. Your opinion of me mattered more than the opinion of myself. The first time I did drugs, I felt like I found myself. I was going to do this for the rest of my life. The difference between that and now is I wasn't dealing with fentanyl. These kids are going to the drugs the same reason I went to the drugs. Loss of identity, bullying, people pleasing, all the things. So you keep hearing the word overdose. Please take it from someone that did drugs. We are not dealing with overdoses in our country. The definition of overdose means the excessive use of drugs. Andrea's daughter took a half a pill. That is not an excessive use of drugs. If we keep telling society that we're dealing with overdoses, what 10-year-old kid is going to think they're going to overdose on 1 pill? Are we also implying that there's such thing as a safe dose by saying overdose? So addiction, what is addiction? It's just an escape. But what is recovery? Something totally different though. Recovery means to become to a normal state of mind and body. So let's talk about how fentanyl has changed recovery. The kids need recovery now before they even pick up the drugs, because the first time they pick up, they could die. People that are in recovery that were former addicts have a higher chance of dying the longer and longer they stay off the drugs. To give you an illustration, act like you're on a diet and the first time you have a piece of pie, you die. That's what it's like for someone in recovery. The longer and longer we stay off the drugs, the higher and higher the chance of us dying goes. So fentanyl's not just changing drug use. Fentanyl's not just taking our kids. Fentanyl's changing the way we need to recover. My message is very clear to people in recovery. The time to remain anonymous is over. Over. There's no 10-year-old kid that's going to Narcotics Anonymous or Alcoholics Anonymous and getting to hear a story that needs to hear. The stigma associated with addiction is because there's so many of us that could not hide I picked up cigarette butts off the floor where we're standing. I lived on the New York City subway system. Some of us that are in recovery got to come out and start taking some of the shots. Stigmas exist because there's ignorance. Ignorance exists because there's no education. I couldn't hide my addiction. Why would I get in recovery and hide the best version of me? So if you're in recovery and you're hearing this, it's time to stop being anonymous. If you're in recovery, we need to start taking some shots. If you're in recovery and just getting your life together, that's not enough. You need to step up and stand with the families and stand with law enforcement. And like Andrea said, and I'm going to back it up with Mr. Tarantino, this is not a war on drugs. This is a fight to save lives. And the more we see as a drug problem, 18 to 45, does that sound like a drug addicts to you? You know what the age rate of the dying quickest? 17 and under. Sound like drug addicts to you? This is a humanitarian problem. And the more and more we think it's separate and we think it's law enforcement's problem or legislation's problem or the parents' problem, the more and more we think it's one person's problem, the more and more there's going to be a life dying every 5 minutes. So the message is clear. This is not a war on drugs. This is a fight to save lives. And like Andrea said, when we go into St. Patrick's Cathedral, if you think fentanyl is a drug addict's problem, I'm telling you right now, drugs don't discriminate. And fentanyl is an extermination of human beings. You want to see the extermination? Come work with us at St. Patrick's Cathedral. Have your voice be heard. Don't let stigmas exist. Keep fighting for the loved ones and let our voices be known that we will not stop. And I got one more thing. Galatians 6:9. Let us not grow weary of doing good. For in due season we will reap if we do not give up. There is no more giving up. There's just saving lives. Thank you so much.